Hi and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. Hope you guys have had yourself a great day. It's Sunday night, of course, and you know that every Sunday night of the lockdown, I do the lockdown special. I was thinking to myself, it might be the last one after Boris Johnson's speech today. However, on listening to the speech, there will be more of these lockdown Q&As because basically the lockdown still continues over here in the UK. I don't know if you guys listened to it, but basically what did he really say? What he really said basically is that the lockdown continues. I think some people in construction can go back to work. And if you go back to work, you've got to avoid public transport. And from Wednesday, I don't know why from Wednesday and not from tomorrow, but from Wednesday, you can go out for exercise more than once a day. You can go out with your family only, and you can, you know, spend time exercising or spend time sitting in the park, etc. But basically, the lockdown still continues. And what was quite interesting, actually, in listening to him, was that he was saying that more or less in the stages he was outlining, it was more or less like things will start to get back to normal. Well, no, actually, that's wrong. He didn't say things will get back to normal, but it's starting to progress slightly from July, really. He's saying they're going to look at it again in June and they might tentatively open certain things. But when he's talking about like the hospitality industry and that, he's looking and saying if there's things keep going down, cases keep going down and stuff like that, then they're looking at July to start opening back maybe pubs and restaurants and stuff like that. So we're miles from being out of the woods. And what does that mean for football? Because we know that with football, they're trying to get things going for, you know, they're looking at June. I think after listening to what he just said there, start of June's definitely going to be optimistic. You maybe the middle of June, or I don't know what the rush is with football either. I've been saying this all along. I said this right at the start of the coronavirus thing. I said, why can't we? I said, I can't see it coming back until at least July. And I can't see why we can't play football like July, August. And just like Chris Hudson said when he came on the other day, you could start the season in October or something. Why does it have to be finished by, you know, July, the end of July or something? You know what I mean? I think if they're going to be looking at that, they're going to be very lucky to do that. The other thing is as well that's quite interesting, I was thinking of as well, is that, of course, they're thinking to, well, Boris Johnson's saying they're going to bring in a quarantine now. So if you've gone abroad, you have to go into a 14-day quarantine before you can come back into the UK because cases are dropping rapidly. What about those players that have gone abroad? There's a lot of players at different clubs that have gone abroad and, you know, gone back home during this coronavirus. They won't be able to come back. Well, they can come back in. They'd have to do a 14-day quarantine. I suppose you could, again, get around that because, you know, they know the date when they're possibly going to start football back. So they'd be able to say to them, come back for this date and be in quarantine up until then. But listen, more questions and answers. But I suppose the positive is that things, you know, he's saying that the cases are dropping, the infection rate is dropping, and there's reasons to be optimistic that we're starting to come out of the worst of this, which is good news. That is, we've got to take the positives, man. You know me, I'm a positive guy. Mr. A said, Boris just said, you can meet your boss, but not your family. I know, it was a bit vague what he said there. It was a bit vague. It was so staged as well, wasn't it? When he does all this hand stuff, innit? And we will. I'm like, oh, chill, bro. You know? But it's Sunday night. It's Q&A. Ask me whatever you want, and I will seek to try and answer it. And keep those comments coming in, whether it just be sending them in, whether it be a super chat, whatever. I will endeavour to do as many of them as I possibly can. Let's kick off with. Let's get Dr. Viraj. You always got some good comments. Dr. Viraj says, hi, Robbie. When are you going to get fans from different countries on AFTV? Also, how many fans will be there during a show at one time? Keep up the good work. Love from India. So we've got plans to do that. I'm hoping maybe this week we could do that. Hopefully this week we can do that. So, you know, and I'll be sort of doing a little announcement on how we are going to do that, how we are going to say to people to get onto the show. So look out for that, because I definitely want to get some fans from right around the world involved, because everybody's in different parts of the world right now going through this. So I'd love to get everybody's view on it. Peter, why are England so bad at ice hockey? We ain't got no ice here. Well, not all year round anyway. Asia says, I think a lot of people forget that we already have 2 new signings for next season in the form of Tierney. We signed him last season. But I hear what he's saying, because he's been injured. He's going to be like a new signing, as Arsene Wenger always used to say. And Saliba. Yeah, we'll see the best of Tierney hopefully next season. Hopefully, you know, because he came to the club injured and then he got injured again. And then, of course, we haven't seen Saliba. So you could look on it that way. Lord's Official says, what about a right back, Robbie? Buy Cedric or develop Maitland-Niles into one. If he don't like to be a defender, then we have to sell him for his good to get him playing more time. Well, that's true. I've been a bit of a critic in the early days of Maitland-Niles, because I was like, yo, stop moaning about playing in defence and just play. You're in Arsenal's first team. Be lucky. You're a good player. You're a top player. Very talented. Just play. I know you want to play in midfield, but just play. And I don't know. He seems to have fallen out of favour a bit with Arteta. And I was very surprised that time when he got dropped, because I thought he was playing really, really well, amongst his best, you know. And I'd love to see him stay at the club. You know, he's an Arsenal boy. He's come up through the system. Again, he knows what Arsenal's all about. And I think he could develop into being a top right back. But then maybe we should get to see him as a midfielder. Maybe this season, that's what we might get to do. We might get to see him play in his right position, because we won't spend gazillions of pounds on some of these players that we're all looking to get. So it'll offer him an opportunity. So I'd like to see him play in the midfield. But for now, yes, we don't know what's going to happen with Cedric. He came on loan. If the season gets finished, we'll get to see what he's like, you know. So let's wait and see. TD says, hey, Robbie, on a side note, I didn't get to visit the roof when you were in Dubai at the Hotel Palmyra. Hope to see you back in Australia. Oh, thank you very much. Listen, I had a feeling that Arsenal might go to Australia this season as well. I really had a feeling that we might do that. And of course, there's going to be no summer tour, you know. And I was looking at the fixtures even today. Next week would have been our last game of the season against Watford. And then we would have been looking at where we're going on the pre-season tour, which would have been sometime towards the end of, sometime in July. So, but it's all changed now. But yeah, I remember when we did that Q&A in Dubai, it was brilliant. And met some fantastic fans there. So yeah, that was fantastic. And we'd love to be able to do something like that again over there very, very soon. RP2 Wavy says, hi, Robbie. What do you think about Project Restart? Well, listen, I've said this all along. I just look on it. People will give me grief for it, but I stand by what I say. You have to, if the medical people are saying that we can, you know, play our games behind closed doors, you have to have a plan to get the season started. And that's all these guys are doing. I think people read into it wrongly. Project Restart is exploring ways to get the season finished. So they're coming up with lots of different solutions. Some of them are good solutions. Some of them ain't workable. But at least they're trying to do something to get the season going. And I think that, you know, that's leadership. You've got to be thinking about how do we get this thing back on the road if we can. If we can't, we can't. If it can't be done. But I'd rather them do that than everybody just sit there all day long saying, oh, we can't play. I mean, let's wait and see. So Project Restart, I think, is the right thing to do. It's the right, you know, to try and get the season back on track. Whether we will be able to, we'll have to wait and see. Stephen Featley, big up Stephen. He says, hi, Robbie. Your content helped me during my time in hospital a few weeks ago. Now out and a lot better. Favorite Arsenal moment. What happened to the phone call? Oh, sorry, mate. Big up, Stephen. I know you're in hospital, mate. I'm glad that you're out and you're feeling better. Favorite Arsenal moment. The invincible season. I always say that season, man. You can't even put that season down to one game because every game was just, if only we could go back to those days, man. Maybe one day. Robbie Lai says, hi, Robbie. After breaking up with me, my first love found me a new boyfriend only after 2 months. And she said, just mostly for fun, does she really love me? All right. Ejaz says, hi, Don Robbie. I would like to ask, how did you become an Arsenal fan? And if you was not an Arsenal fan, which other team would you be supporting? And also, if Bellerin go, which right back would you like? Arsenal fan, became an Arsenal fan by going to games with my cousins, and that's how I became an Arsenal fan. If I didn't support Arsenal, I'd support Arsenal ladies. And if Bellerin went, which right back? I'd have Pereira from Leicester, but they'd never sell him. But Pereira from Leicester, I really rate as a player. Max Aarons would be a good shout as well. I think Max Aarons is a very talented player, so I think he could fit the bill. Or let's see what Cedric's like. Who knows? Habib says, hey, Robbie, 3 Brighton players have tested positive for the coronavirus. Surely the league can't be restarted. Also, DT won the poll. That's DT. He sent me, I won the poll. I said, D, I don't understand. I'm, you notice the DT's always like, let's do a poll. I'm not in, when I have my opinions, I'm not in a popularity race. I say what my opinions are, and my opinions I stick by, right? Which is, if it's safe, they should try and get the season completed. If it's safe. If it's not safe, void it, cancel it, whatever you're going to do, or delay it. That even might be the best thing, delay it. But if you can get it finished, and I see nothing wrong with the Premier League sitting down trying to come up with ideas to get the season restarted. And it might involve having to do different things. Just how it is, we're in exceptional times. So I don't really care about no polls. That's my opinion. And I think, you know, sometimes when people show leadership, it's not always popular at the time. But let me tell you one thing. If the Premier League sat and did nothing and said, right, you know what, things are bad at the moment, we ain't going to do anything. We're just going to sit down. And then the Bundesliga kicks off and it does really, really well and they get the season finished. And then, say, over in Spain, they get the season finished. Guys like DT will be the first one to be criticising them. Why didn't we get off our arse and get things organised? Remember, they're not saying start the season tomorrow. They're trying to prepare to see if they can start it in June. And for me, I'm all for that. If they can't, they can't. So, and 3 players testing positive at Brighton. Listen, anybody testing positive is not great. But there's a lot of players at Brighton. You know, there's a lot of players in the Premier League. So, you know, some of them are going to, this virus is hitting everybody. Some of them are going to test positive. You know, if you said to me 15 players have tested positive, I'd be much more worried. But three's not great, but, you know, they can go into isolation. Hopefully they'll be fine and stop the spread of it. And that doesn't stop the whole league from being able to still continue if it is, say, mid-June. So it's bad that 3 Brighton players have tested positive, but, you know, as I was saying this morning, I just find sometimes with this coronavirus thing, it's very easy, and I can understand it with the amount of people that have died from it. It's very easy to just always be on the negative. And as I said, you never see a headline for the people that have recovered. There's never a headline for that. There's never, oh, we had 1,000 cases and 900 recovered. We never see that as a headline. We always see the negative stuff. So, you know, Luke says, hi, Robbie, hope you're good. When do you next see us lifting the Premier League trophy. Consider realistic signings, offloadings, and financial obstacles. Well, what I'd say with the finances, everybody's going to be in the same problems this summer. It's going to be a different summer. This coronavirus thing going to affect every single club. And I just don't see those mega signings. I've been saying it right from the beginning of this. I don't see these mega signings that a lot of people have been talking about. I just don't think they're going to happen. So it might be a little bit of a leveler. It might, in a way, because we're going to have to use a lot of what we've got, an academy and loan. So it's going to be down to how smart we are in the transfer market and getting the best out of the players we've got. We're not good enough to win the league at the moment. We know that. But if we can get through next season, then we get a load of players off the wage bill, make some smart signings, keep hold of our quality players. Within the next 2 years, we could be challenging. But if not, if we sell our best players and, then we'll still be doing what we're doing now, which is just really, we're just sort of drifting around at the moment, which is not great. Christian here says, hi, Robbie. I think we should go for Martin Hertelgrab from Frankfurt. I don't really know much about him. He's one of the best defenders in the Bundesliga, and he's the best age and not as expensive as Upamecano. I'm going to have to look into him. Of course, we would have come up against him when we played Frankfurt. I remember they had that in Dicker, wasn't it? He was a good defender. David McAteer says, Robbie, tell you what you take me. I'm trying to just get your grammar, mate, slightly. Robbie, tell you what you take me, Spurs. I'll get you tickets for the next Old Firm, and you take me down. Oh, okay, so I think what you're saying is you take me to Spurs, North London derby. He'll take me to the Old Firm. I'm up for that, man. I'd love to go. Mind you, which end would I be in? That's that. You have to tell me where I'll be. I have to be in a neutral end, yeah, because my life. I like my life, yeah, and I already got enough dramas with Arsenal, Tottenham, to then go and get myself embroiled in another derby and to be seen to be taking a side on either Rangers or Celtic. So I need to be in a neutral part. Mumor says, Robbie, which Bundesliga team are you going to be supporting? Well, I've been to Dortmund, and I really, really got a little bit of a soft spot for Dortmund after going there, although that soft spot sometimes rubs off because I remember the time when they beat us, right? But I like that Union Berlin, man. I like them. I like their fans, and of course they'll have no fans now, and that's been one of the things that's really helped them. Yeah, I like Dortmund, but maybe. Yeah, I'll go Dortmund because, it's going to be sort of battle between them and Bayern to win the league. So it'd be really interesting to see how that works out. The boss says DT's always moaning. He's born to moan, man. Born to moan, that brother. Yeah, he's all right, though. He's all right. Samuel says, speak some Welsh, Rob. Jamaica got enough Welsh influence. Well, I ain't got no Welsh lyrics, trust me. I like Wales though, but I ain't got no Welsh lyrics, trust me. Hyde and Denarian says, Robbie, nothing about football. What do you think of the speech said by Boris Johnson? Are you positive the lockdown may end by the summer? Stay safe, Rob. No, not really. I mean, do you know what? There's one thing that troubled me about that speech, right? I didn't really hear him saying a lot of things about, well, he did sort of mention it, but what I wanted to hear from him is right, we're going to start testing everybody from this date. I ain't hear that. And I think that's one of the most important things. We've got to start testing people because you don't know who's got it from who ain't got it. So, for instance, like what that guy said earlier, 3 Brighton players have got it. Now, they could be, asymptomatic, but they've got it. There's people walking around at the moment with the coronavirus who ain't got the symptoms, who don't even know they've got it. How are we going to get on top of that until we start really rolling out testing to as many people as possible in this country? And I think that is the key. And I didn't hear enough on that. I didn't hear enough about PPE as well. I thought he was going to say something about everybody's going to wear a mask. I think that's what they've been doing in a lot of other countries. They didn't say that. So it's a little bit vague, a little bit staged. I mean, I suppose I can kind of understand it because they're trying to be ultra cautious. But, you know, by the end of the summer, may lockdown in by the end of the summer. Yeah, I feel so. I feel from what he's saying, it looks like they're looking at July. Because remember, he's even talking about secondary schools going back. Get these kids away, right? So that would be that. There are some positive signs in there. Skullfuggery, I like that. He says, to what extent do you think we're becoming delusional with our ability to attract elite players? Which club are we equally attractive as currently? Not really. Listen, we've attracted over the past few seasons, we've attracted some top players. Lacazette. For quite a few seasons, we were all like saying, get Lacazette, buy Lacazette, buy. All the fans were saying it. We got him. I know he was on his way really to Atletico, but we did get him. We got Aubameyang, big signing, you know. Tierney was quite a big signing last season. I know it weren't mega money, but a lot of teams were looking at him, and you know he was highly rated up there in Scotland. So I suppose we haven't pulled off some of those elite signings. You know what I mean? Those really, really mega signings. But then, you know what? A bit like what Michael Thomas. Remember, we had Michael Thomas, ex-Arsenal player, who was on last night, and he made the point. He goes, Robbie, we never have bought one of those mega elite players ever. We've more been a team that have sort of bought and, you know, turned players into those elite players. And then there's also, you've got to remember that we did get Nicolas Pepe, which was, you know, that was looked upon as a big signing, you know. Owen says we need to sign Ben. He'll take one for the team. He didn't catch me with that, man. Sports Fans TV says, Robbie, when Aubameyang leaves, who should be the captain leading Arsenal to greatness? If Aubameyang leads, next captain El Neni, or somebody we want to leave, right? Because every time someone gets that captaincy, they always end up leaving, or maybe don't make anybody captain. If we don't want to get rid of someone, I mean, everybody who becomes captain seems to leave right now. Stephen Featley says, okay with a plan, don't implement it until it's safe. Further details, Boris will explain tomorrow in the comments. Yeah, he did say that, to be fair. Plus reports of 50,000 tests sent to us. 50,000. How many millions of people live in this country, right? You know, 50,000, that's not even a borough of London, man. They need to get more testing to everybody. For a country, you know, of this size, United Kingdom, we need to have more tests. It's not good enough at the moment. Hassan says, greetings from Sudan. Greetings to you as well. Big up to all Muslims, right, that are doing Ramadan at the moment, man. You know what? That must be tough. All day long up until around about 8 before you can eat anything. So big up, Mo. I know you're sticking to it, so respect. Francis X says, hi, Robbie from the Czech Republic. So I simply must ask you about Thomas Rosický's career. I think he's one of the most gifted players who played for Arsenal in the Emirates area. Your thoughts? He was one of my favourite players as well. Brilliant. Some of the goals he scored, I always remember that goal, that rocket he scored against Tottenham right at the start of the North London derby at White Hart Lane. It was unbelievable. He scored so many great goals. And do you know what? He would have been so much better had it not been for the injuries that he got. He really, again, was another one of those players that were just afflicted with injuries. But I loved him. I loved him as a player. He was so skillful. I loved his attitude. He always had a smile on his face. When I met him, he was such a cool guy. You know, definitely, you know, a great player for Arsenal over the last few years. And, you know, as I said, I only wish he hadn't had as many injuries as he did, because I think we could have got even more out of him. But great guys, Thomas Rosický. Arsenal fan DB says, hi, Robbie. What are your thoughts on Saliba? My thoughts are that I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm really infused to see what he's going to be able to do. But I think we need to slow down a bit. The way some fans are talking, man, is like, we're getting Virgil van Dijk. We hope, and pray that in the future he could end up being that type of player. But he's only a young player, very young player. And we've got to give him time, and we've got to, let him progress. He's going to make mistakes along the way. We're going to have to just make him progress. So he seems to be getting a lot of hopes pinned on him, and he's only a youngster. But, let's hope he does well. Certainly, I can't remember the game I went to. He was there. He's actually sat in the crowd trying to disguise himself. He had his hood up and all that. Didn't take long before fans recognised him. And when I met him, shook his hand and that, he's a big guy, man. He's like 6 foot odds, it's about 6'4" or something, really tall, imposing guy. So looks like a great signing, but let's be patient. That's what I'd say. But looking forward to seeing him. Wan says, how can the UFC start in America and not the league in the UK? If America is so much worse than the UK. The thing is that with America, me and my brother was talking about this yesterday. You have to remember that America is a very big country. It's literally, America's almost like 52 states. It's almost like they've got like 52 countries within a country, and there's some parts of America where it's really bad. It was bad in New York, really bad in New York. My friend in New York, where I talked to all the time, he was telling me about how rough it was there. It sounded just like here, to be fair. But then you'll have other parts of America that are not too bad. They haven't got many cases. So maybe that's why, the government over there are sort of dealing with it in a different way to how they're dealing with it over here. So, and I don't think the UFC is starting with crowds, is it? The UFC, again, is starting behind closed doors with lots of restrictions. So it's about bringing it back when it's safe. And at the moment, it's not safe to bring it back. We've got to wait until it is safe. They seem to want to get it going in June. Will it be safe enough by then? Who knows? I don't see what the big rush is. I keep saying it. I don't know why the season couldn't be finished at the end of July, August. Because the way in which Boris Johnson is talking, by July, if cases continue to go down, it looks like it would definitely be able to be played behind closed doors. But I don't know. There seems to be a rush to really get it going. Patrick says, "Hi Robbie, big up from Sweden. Been an Arsenal fan since 1994. Do you remember the Swede Stefan Schwarz?" Yes, he was amazing in the World Cup '94 when we took bronze. He was a very, very good player. Very, very good player. Bayer says, "Hi Robbie, greetings from Frankfurt. Love your content. Tell the watchers to subscribe. Have you watched the Thierry Henry documentary? Was fascinating. I cried when he unveiled the statue. Stay safe. Big up everybody over there in Germany." Sion on Germany says, "Do you think Germany was stupid to start their league?" Well, they haven't started it yet. It's going to be in a couple of weeks' time. And no, I don't. If it's safe, no. Try and finish it. Do it behind closed doors. If it's safe. So they're saying it's safe over there. I know Germany are miles ahead of us. They've got more tests going, everything. They've had less cases. So they feel the time is right to start. Fair enough, How many kits do you own, Robbie? I own quite a few. As I said this morning, I haven't got like every Arsenal kit that was ever made or anything like that. But I've got quite a few of them. Chadwick says, "Do you miss Marc Overmars?" Oh yes, of course I do. Again, another unbelievable player. Unbelievable player. So quick, so skillful. Great player. Hazardous 1990 says, "Thoughts on Julio Baptista and Alexander Kleb's time at Arsenal?" I'd say Kleb had a very, very good time. He was excellent, and Baptista not so much. He came in with a big rep, didn't really hit it off the beast. But Kleb had a good time at Arsenal, and interestingly, when he talks about, because obviously he left to go to Barcelona, he always talks about that was a big regret of his, leaving to go to Barcelona. He should have stayed at Arsenal. And see, so it's not always greener on the other side. Raphael says they do not want to mess up Euro 2021, Robbie. That's why they are rushing. But you can, just like how they're coming up with measures and that to, they can come up with measures and that to get the season. I mean, I just don't see to me, it's too much of a rush going on. I really do. Just chill a bit. If it can be played in July, what's wrong with that? I suppose, I know there's things like contracts running out and stuff like that, why they want to get it played in June. But if not, stretch it out a bit. Daniel says, Real Madrid offering Ceballos and James Rodriguez for Aubameyang in a swap deal. Have they lost their mind, Robbie? Big up from Ethiopia. You're damn right, bro. They must have lost their mind, because forget James Rodriguez, man. This guy's been done since the past couple of years now. James Rodriguez and Ceballos, great player, but I'd rather keep Aubameyang. Sam says, why haven't we seen Chambers feature in a DM role? He did well at Fulham. Thank you for keeping us entertained and informed. Stay safe. That's true. That is very true. And who knows? He may, when he comes back, with the amount of defenders we seem to be buying at the moment, and obviously he's injured at the moment, so he won't be sold. Maybe that could be a role for him as a defensive midfielder. Hazardous 1990 again says, which three players would you take from Spurs? I think Expressions asked me. This was asked the other day, wasn't it? It would be like Kane and Son, but we don't really need them because we've got players in those positions who I'm quite happy with. So, but they'd be two. Who else? That's it, really. Can't even think of another one I'd take. Just them two, really. Yeah, them two. So Mystery 93 says, what do you think of Moussa Dembele of Lyon? Young, powerful, technically and consistent stats. Very good player. Very good player. When we talk sometimes, we say, yeah, he come from Scotland. He's a player that come from Scotland and has done very, very well. Would be a good signing. Very expensive. Lyon wouldn't want to let him go on the cheap. Might have to do now. They've got no European football according to how their league ended. Yeah, very good player. Very good player. SB says, with null and void off the table and the FA are adamant that 3 teams will be relegated, do you see the teams agreeing to it? PPG will be used to determine SZN. I don't listen. If it's null and void, I've said it a million times. Nobody should go down. No one should win the title if it's cancelled. So that's why it's important that they should try. And I mean, how do you judge who goes down? I think it would be very, very wrong to do it in that way. Kyle B says, with all your boxing, your Arsenal shirts might be big for you now, Robbie. You know what? A couple of them are. The boxing thing's been going all right, man. I've been enjoying. It's the one good thing about this whole coronavirus thing, right? Is that health-wise, individually, I think it's giving everybody a wake-up call in everything to do with your health, isn't it? Physical activity, what you're eating, trust me, what you're drinking. It has been a real wake-up call. So that's been one of the good things, very few good things to come out of this. Joshua Matthew says, do you like and follow any other sports apart from football? Yeah, I do. I love cricket. I've really got into American football recently. Watched the Super Bowl and I enjoyed that. Boxing, love the big fights. Follow boxing a lot. Rugby I like. Used to play rugby a lot as a youngster. I do like my rugby. I like all sports. Formula One. Love Formula One. Really, really love it. What other sports? Tennis, anything. I'm a real, listen, any sport I'm into. I just love watching sport. That's why I tell you, I found this tough with no sports at all. You know, it's been, you know, because I was saying the other day, you can't even like turn your TV on and watch a bit of cricket or watch a bit of different sports. There's no sports at all. But I like most sports. I say some of them sports like snooker, I'm not really into, man. I don't know. I just can never get into that sport. It's just so slow and nah. And golf, I've tried to get, I find that difficult as well to get into that. I can watch like the ending of it, but to sit down and watch it for a few hours. I remember when my dad was alive, he'd love watching that. I'd be like, Dad, come on, man. It's boring, man. You know, but I'd say almost most sports I enjoy. Aki says, hi, Robbie. I'm one of the Arsenal fans in my country who listen to you, and I would really like to play for them one day. And I really like the rumour kit. Like to play for them. You must be good then. You must, if you're going to get to play for Arsenal, you've got to be very talented, mate. Better here, Javinho or Shamak? Definitely Shamak, man, because Javinho's hairline, man, was missing. Do you remember Javinho, man? That's another player who came in and really did disappoint, didn't he? He just didn't. It didn't hit him off. He didn't hit off at all, man. Lil Ben says, hope all is well, Robbie. God bless you and your family. Thank you very much, man. That's very nice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Arsenal fan DB says, if Ramsey was still here, would you put him over anyone in the squad, or would you be happy with our current squad? I would personally say over Xhaka. If Ramsey was here, he'd definitely have to be playing because, you know, he's one of the things we lack is goals from midfield. So, yeah, Ramsey, you know, definitely be straight in for me. Aaron C says, what do you think about Rhys Nelson? Do you rate him? Yes, I do. I've gone on record and said before that I felt, you know, at the start of the season, got bounced off the ball a little bit too easy and needed a bit more strength. But towards the end of the season was very, very effective. And I can see that as a player, I predict big things for that guy. I see a growing player there. I see a player that we ain't seen the best of yet. His progression is nice. And I think he's going to be a top player for Arsenal. And, you know, with Arteta there, I think Arteta's perfect for him. Get that winning mentality into him, get that strength into him, that strength of mindset. That guy's going to be a top player. Honestly, watch him next season. I think he's going to do well. When are we going to see AFTV in India? Says Akhilesh. I hope I pronounced that right. Hopefully, coronavirus is over. Let's get out there to India, man. For a long time, we've been saying we want to get over there to India. Never been to India. Would love to go to India. I really would love to go to India. It looks like such a fascinating country. So many Arsenal fans over there. So many football fans over there. Would love to get out there. What's happened to Bully? Everyone keeps asking this. I've answered this question about 100 times. I said that I know that his mum wasn't doing the greatest, so he wasn't going to as many games as before. So that's why you haven't really seen him. John says, good afternoon, Robbie. Do you think that Arsenal can make the top four next week? Barca fan, Chelsea. I think he means next season. Thank you for making the YouTube channel special. Top four next season. Be tough. I think the season after. If we sell Aubameyang, no. If we keep Aubameyang with Arteta, got a chance. Got a chance. But, you know, tough. Steve says, Robbie, what do you think of the Leon player, Oyer, or however you pronounce it, Oyer? What is your favorite movie of all time? Oyer, I really like that Oyer. I think he's, you know, from what I've seen of him, I've seen him play in a few games. Looks like a really, really talented player. Very skillful. Would suit Arsenal. Looks like a sort of player would suit Arsenal, grow into Arsenal, could become a really top player, but would be very expensive. Favorite movie of all time? That's a hard question, man. I like, you know what? I like Goodfellas, man. I like my gangster movies, and I do like Goodfellas, man. I've watched that film so many times. I love Scarface. You can see the type of films I like, but Scarface, I love. I'll go Goodfellas. Goodfellas, man. Brilliant film. Still can watch it. You know which film I watched the other day? The original Matrix. That's another brilliant film. Brilliant. Johnny and Junior says, hi, Robbie. Me and my dad are both Chelsea fans. Enjoy watching your videos. We can tell that's an old Arsenal kit. Been a while since you had that badge on that arm. All right, you're funny. Been a while since you had that badge on your arm. You're the best, your best all-time Arsenal player. Well, you know what? Where is it? What's that? We need to get this back, man. We need to get this back. Trust me. Best all-time Arsenal player for me, mine is Thierry Henry. But you can argue Bergkamp, you can argue Ian Wright, you can argue a whole host of players. But for me, I always go Thierry. Right, look, questions still coming in. Thank you very much for all these questions tonight. You're really keeping me on my toes. Lewis says, Robbie, do you worry that Saliba will be a flop like De Jure? Remember, De Jure was highly rated at Arsenal, and look how he turned out. I don't know if De Jure was he a flop? I don't think he was a flop. Again, I think he's another guy that got a lot of injuries at Arsenal. Certainly, he was very highly rated. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so because I like Arteta. I think Arteta's going to get the best out of these players, and I think he's a guy that will look to really instill that sort of toughness and winning mentality into these players, which is going to be really important. So I don't think he'll flop. No, I really don't. Danny Flynn says, do you think loaning Saka to a club like Celtic or Rangers, getting game time or playing at left back might be a reason for him not signing a new contract? I'm hearing rumours that he's going to sign. Is the rumour that I've been told. Definitely loaning him out, no chance. We should definitely not be loaning out Saka to any club right now. So no, I think that would be a bad idea to loan him out. He's good enough for the first team right now. Jabba1R says, Robbie, do you like Indian curry? Yes. I do. I love Indian food, man. That's my favorite food. It's brilliant. This gentleman says, nah, Robbie, I haven't seen anything from Nelson. He's not better than Martinelli, Saka, or Pepe. Send him out on loan again. The same with Willock, a.k.a. Come on, that's harsh. Listen, you've got to give players time. Yeah? Even when Thierry Henry first came, Perez, all those guys, it took time for them to get where they are. Rhys Nelson is going to be a good player. Trust me. Watch, he's the way he's developing at the moment is nice. He's going to be a top player. Obviously, he's not as good, at the moment as he's not a Martinelli, he's not a Saka, he's not a Pepe. Michael Thomas said it last night. Players develop in different stages, but I think we're going to be all right with this kid. You know what I mean? Seriously, I really do. Keep the faith in him, man. Keep the faith in him. He's one of our youths from the academy. He's going to be all right. B-Ray Official said, Robbie, what do you think of the UFC last night with no crowd or atmosphere? Also, you're good to check my talent on Instagram. Okay, we'll have to do that. B-Ray Official, BX Wokey _. I have to check that out. Behind closed doors is not ideal, man. Simple as that. It kills. UFC is another sport where, you need the atmosphere. It's just like the Premier League. So it does sort of, you do lose something. 100% you do lose something. But at the moment, that's the best, you can do for all these sports at the moment. So, but it's not ideal. And certainly you just lose something. It just seems strange, especially in them sort of, combat sports when there's no crowd. It's not very good. All right. Can't seem to be able to click my comments up at the moment. My comments have just gone absolutely haywire. right? It's not stopping on everything that I'm trying to click up to come up. It's disappeared now. What's going on? What's going on? It's not working. Come back, comments. Let me try again. Oh, it's just gone. It's frozen on me. Oh, here we go. We got one there. Jesus, it's gone crazy. I still. Let me just read this one anyway. Oh, let me see if I can just read this one anyway. They just disappeared. My comments are not working. I apologize for this. I don't know what's happened. It's just gone mad. All right, let me see. I can't get this one on the screen. Let's see if it clicks up anyway. Comments are just. It's not my fault this year. It's a technical problem. Not with us, but with the stream. I'm just going to read this one anyway. It's from Gordon Jackson. He says, "You're doing a great job, man. Keep it up. You inspire me to start my own channel." Oh, that's very nice. Sorry, I couldn't get it up on the screen. Oh, what's gone wrong? Big up John Eaton. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. It's just frozen up on me, man. Apologies. It's just. Let me try again. It's just not. This is what happens when you're live, man. This is what happens. It is just gone completely haywire and nuts, and it's flashing past, and it's not stopping on comments. Then when I'm clicking it, it's disappearing. So sorry about that. Let me see if I can just read some of the ones that I can see here. Aisha saying, "Try restarting the system." That's the then I'll lose the stream, bro. I can't do that. Let me try again. Let me try this guy here. Not working, man. Not working. So listen, I suppose I'm gonna have to end it then if it's not working. But listen, we really enjoyed the show tonight. Love doing these Q&As. We will still be in lockdown, so we'll be back next week for another lockdown Sunday night. But in the meantime, have yourself a great evening. Don't forget, we're going to be back in the morning with the early edition. Early edition, we always talk a lot of transfers, so make sure you check that out. But have yourself a great evening.